US election. I was watching the US presidential debate, and Donald Trump seemed very upset in himself, and I was wondering why is he so mad? You know, he was crying about how the pets are being eaten in Springfield, the dogs and the cats, and I was just thinking, like, I mean, I haven't watched The Simpsons since like 2005, but the storytelling must have taken an awful dark turn to say Trump was so triggered like this. So I was thinking, like, surely Donald Trump has got enough connections that he could just get onto the Simpsons creators directly and tell them, you know, that episode you put out about the dogs and the cats, it really hurt my feelies, you know. Or he could just do, and here's the thing with Donald Trump, because he's so, it is exciting that for the first time America will have a woman of color president, but I don't know. I just feel like in 2024, I need a little more. Like, is it possible that she could possibly do a little pronoun shift, turn that she, her into a she, they? Maybe pick up a slight disability, like something, nothing too extreme, but maybe like, you know, a little bit of autism, a little bit of ADHD, because the idea of a disabled, non-binary person of color being the next president of the US, that is extremely exciting. I'm very excited about that. And if you look back to Kamala Harris in the 1980s, she was a she day as fuck. Until she does that, instead of focusing on what she is, she should focus on what she's not. And what she's not is Donald Trump. So, you know how Barack Obama had the slogan, "Yes, we can." Kamala Harris needs to have the slogan, "Not him." When she comes up on stage, all her fans need to be like, "Not him, not him, not him, not him." Because not being Trump, that will win you elections in America. Like, Trump, it worked for Biden, and Biden didn't even know what year it was towards the end. So, you know, there's a way to beat Trump, and the easiest way is to point out that you're up against Donald Trump, and you can win. You know, you don't need to do all this pandering stuff that she be doing, you know. But yeah, I mean, if I was to give you advice on who you should vote for in the election, I would probably say, like, probably go with the person that's not trying to take away every rights that you know, women have and you know, trans people have. Maybe go with that person. But I know that's controversial to even say you should vote for Kamala, because there's certain leftists online, and I use the term leftist loosely, that sometimes I wonder, is their politics really leftism or is it contrarianism? Because they seem to have a problem with everything, but they camouflage it by pretending to be leftists. And you see it even, because I said online that you should vote for Bernie. I don't even know if Bernie Sanders is running, but I was met with a lot of hate. I think I got soft cancelled because apparently Bernie Sanders is a Zionist. But I googled Bernie Sanders, what he said about Palestine, and everything I saw was him calling out the Israeli government and saying what going on in Palestine is disgusting. So I wasn't quite sure how Bernie was a Zionist, but I guess he was, and I've learned my lesson going forward to Bernie bad now. So I won't be giving Bernie any credit anymore. So yeah, I would say probably go with Kamala Harris if she comes out as non-binary and picks up a disability. But yeah, probably go with her anyway, because I don't even get why Trump's running this time. Like, I thought the whole reason Trump ran in 2016 was to prove that America was still super racist, super misogynistic, super transphobic after Barack Obama won the time before. But you know, he won, and he proved that America is still racist, misogynistic, and transphobic. But I don't really understand why he's running now. You know, and surprisingly, when you keep electing 80-year-olds as your president, they then start displaying traits of an 80-year-old and, you know, start getting Alzheimer's as 80-year-olds do. So, yeah, it's such a shock how that can happen. By the way, I think all this, like, Trump and all his hate, I think it's all a shield from the reality of who he is. Donald Trump is a trans-masked lesbian. I've always felt this way, even when he was beefing with Rosie O'Donnell back in the day. Do you know, why is a cis man beefing with a lesbian woman? Like, clearly Rosie O'Donnell is living the life that Donald Trump wants to live. But Taylor Swift, she really showed how G she was last Sunday, because Donald Trump said, I hate Taylor Swift, and within 5 hours his golf course was shot up. Now maybe that's just a coincidence, but I think that was Taylor Swift showing the world I'm not to be fucked with. Because, I think what a lot of people forget is that J.K. Rowling was once like a staunch, leftist feminist. But I know what triggered her transphobia. 2017, she announced Dumbledore as gay. The reaction she was expecting from making this announcement was adulation from the LGBT community. When she didn't get that, it frustrated her. Because what people have to remember is J.K. Rowling was seen as one of the good gals before her transphobic outbursts. So when she announced Dumbledore as gay and people were just kind of like apathetic and like, okay, cool info, that hurt her. That hurt her deeply. The one thing that I don't like about the discourse surrounding Donald Trump is the mockery of his hair. Because for me, it's the one redeemable trait he has. His hair, his politics scream old, conservative, racist, right-winger. His hair screams, widowed Aunt Patricia going out on a lesbian date for the first time with Caroline. Like that's the kind of vibe his hair gives. It gives a quirkiness that is stale politics don't give, which again makes me think definitely a trans-masked lesbian there pretending to be a right-winger. But, it's funny how right-wingers, all their idols are always like people that if they saw him in the schoolyard growing up, they would have picked on mercilessly. Like Ben Shapiro with his whole, what the fuck is a WAP? Or Jordan Peterson and his whole, what about the men? Like these are nerds. These are people that the right wing would have picked on in school. But because now they're saying things they agree on, they're seen as their heroes. Which is just funny how so I seen the Hawk Tua girl has started a podcast and she's getting a lot of backlash for it. But to be honest, I think, putting the meme aside, the idea of like someone blowing up overnight and getting all this fame, that's actually an interesting premise for a podcast. I mean, it's much more interesting than the, 1,000 podcasts of, your man Bob who likes the gym and has this, totally legal pyramid scheme to help you get money. I mean, that's a much more interesting premise than 90% of, the white male American podcasts.